All right, James, has it sunk in that you were officially the general manager of the Jaguars yet?
I think being in a suit, being in front of the lights in the press conference, it certainly helps to make sure that that's the case.
All right, the real question, who picked out the teal suit? Was it you or the wife?
You know what? This one goes back a while. So I think we dug it out of the closet and said, hey, wait a minute, it still fits. I think we can bring it out, and it just matched.
So you didn't even know this was like fate then.
It was fate, I would say so, for sure. Now, also, my waistline's getting a little thicker, so I was surprised to see that it fit in the way that it did.
All right, what'd you know about Jacksonville before you got here, maybe before you started interviewing for the job here?
You know what? I didn't have the strongest feel with the Rams. We had come here a few years back ahead of a trip out to London following a game with the Jags, and got a feel for the landscape a little bit in that week before heading over to London. And then, prior to that, there are a lot of people throughout the NFL that I'm close with who have spent time here, who have lived here, who still currently live here. So there's a little bit of a support system in place already, and that I'm looking forward to, continuing to tap into.
How much does the opportunity to work with Liam Cohen play into your decision to come here?
Yeah, that's a major role. The alignment between GM and head coach is key and critical, and by default, because of our roots, we're going to be able to hit the ground running.
I know there's a timeline in place, right? Because the free agency is right around the corner. Draft's getting closer by the day. You're getting ready to head up to Indianapolis for the combine. Is it as hectic as it kind of looks like when we start looking at this, or do you feel like you've been doing the work and some of the work that you've already been doing on this draft class kind of carries over?
Internally, it does not feel hectic, and I would imagine externally you guys will see that I move with poise and deliberate movement, and so I think that'll be reflected here in the way this next month, 2-3 months out, showing itself.
What has it been like for you? I mean, you're a sent through the Rams organization. I mean, feels like you just started your NFL career, and now you're a general manager. What has it been like kind of going through these hurdles and climbing the ladder so quickly?
You know what? I haven't given that a whole lot of thought in terms of what it's felt like. At this point in time, it certainly feels fulfilling, but we got a job to do, and I want to bring a successful football team to the city of Jacksonville and make this fan base proud.
I know one of the things you said about as you look for players, you want them to be nothing but themselves. How hard is it to find those guys to say, okay, that's a Jaguar guy, right? Now that can come here and be nothing but themselves and be exactly what you need?
Yeah, I don't think it's all that hard to find. I think the tough part that can get in the way if you're not disciplined in prioritizing those types of people and players. And that's one thing that I just look forward to, showing our fan base, showing our staff that that's something we will in fact come through on and not just say it.
What's the next big step for you? Do you have to start getting ready for free agency first? Do you start doing more draft work, or do you start looking at the roster that's already kind of in place here first?
I think it goes our roster in conjunction with pro free agency, and obviously on the timeline the draft comes last, but really all three of those things are happening simultaneously.
And one thing, I know you mentioned the Snead family and Les Snead and kind of what he's meant for your career. What's one of maybe the biggest things that you were able to take from him, like during your time there with the Rams?
Yeah, I shared it during the press conference, and Les is unapologetically himself, and he offers that same luxury to everyone else. And there's nothing better than being who you are, and really that's what I'll apply to the way in which we invite both staff and players into this ecosystem. It'll be made of the right type of stuff that simply elevate this place by being nothing more than who they are and not asking them to be anything more than who they are.
You mentioned the collaboration process with two words, pure collaboration. How do you build that? I mean, relationships, you've already kind of had one with Liam a little bit from time with the Rams. You're going to be building that with Tony and some of the other folks here. How do you, build that pure collaboration process?
Yeah, it does take time, but I think leveling up communication is a big part of accelerating that. And I think our staff will feel that immediately.
Is it more important what you do when you disagree than the times when you do agree?
I think both are important, but when we do disagree, to me it's easy because let's just take a player evaluation as an example. All you got to do is sit down, turn on the tape, and start talking, and usually most people are able to bridge some common ground by doing simply that.
When you start looking at players, are there any things that, your hard standards besides the intangibles, are there anything like arm length or anything like that you still say, okay, you got to have that?
No, you'll hear me just say intangibly rich human beings and players.